Hello everyone, I'm Benny Ferguson and welcome to Christ the Life. I want to talk for just a second on the two commandments. The two commandments that Jesus gave us in his teachings, that he said everything hung on, the law of the prophets, everything hung on these two teachings. In Matthew 22:37-40, Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang the law and the prophets. Mark 12:29-34, he also says to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And he tells the young man that he's talking to, that says he's done all those things, and he says if you do those, that you are not far from the kingdom of God. You're not far from the kingdom of God. So what is he talking about when he gives us those commandments? What is he talking about? Do we know what he's talking about? He's talking about a work that you have to do on the inside. To love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. To love, you have to remove fear. You have to remove doubt. You have to remove worry. I don't care what anybody says. If you're fearing anybody, you can't love them. If you're fearing God, you can't love them. You don't love anybody that you fear, because you're in a state of lesser, you're in a state of weakness, you're in a state of feeling below, and you can't love anyone or anything that you fear. So you have to remove all of those things if you plan to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. To love your neighbor as yourself. To love your neighbor as yourself, again, you have to remove all fear, doubt, and worry about this person or about that person. That's the only way you can fully love your neighbor. Not even talking about loving your enemies. Okay? To love your enemies, you have to remove all of that stuff. And it's your job to do it. You have to work through it. You have to set the ideal. You have to know who you want to be, the type of person you're trying to become, and you have to make a decision and set yourself on being that person no matter what is going on, no matter what that person says or does. For me to be respectful toward you has nothing to do with whether you're respectful toward me. Think about that. The two commandments that Jesus gave are direct indicators of the work that we have to do on the inside in order to become that person, in order to be that person, in order to align ourselves with God, so that God's power, love, and glory, so that God himself can work through us into our life. In order for Jesus to be manifest again in the world, Jesus wants to be manifest through you as you do the teachings and align yourself with God. When you align yourself with God and allow God and Christ to come through you, every time somebody does that, every time we work to do that, Christ comes back into the world. Think about it. Are you doing it? Are you doing the teachings? What type of example are you setting? What do people see when you're out and about, when you're in the stores, when you're in the parking lots, when you're in front of your children, when you're with your husband, your spouse, your partner? Who do they see? Do they see a reflection of Christ? Do they see a perfect reflection of God? Or do they see something else? Are you doing the teachings? Are you doing the work that is commanded on the inside? Because that's where the work is. It's on the inside. It has nothing to do with what you do out here. It has nothing to do with where you go out here. But who you are outside and what you do outside is a direct reflection of who you are on the inside. Are you doing the teachings? That's the question. Because that's the only way you can fulfill the two commandments that Jesus gave, is if you're becoming that person on the inside. Think about it. I'm Benny Ferguson, and this is Christ the Life. Live the life, and everything else will be taken care of. Thank you.